what I see driving around New York and frankly driving around America are empty commercial space. And you say, well, it's because of Amazon, it's because of digital. Obviously, it's a pandemic as well. Why aren't the rental prices of that space coming down?
Yeah, no, it's a great question and good morning. Look, I think that in commercial real estate broadly, there has been a story of winners and losers. And at Cadre, we focus on asset classes we think will be resilient, frankly, that we saw accelerating even pre-COVID. And so we focus on multifamily, industrial, and selectively office. To your question on office assets and vacancies, look, I do think that the calls for the office market being dead were overblown. But there definitely will be assets that are distressed and stressed, specifically those where the landlords are unwilling to put in the work to create greater amenities and to create greater comfort for the tenant base and the like. And so I think a lot of the assets that you're seeing are properties that frankly are either in flux right now because ownership isn't willing to invest to ensure that those properties are
Right.
highest quality in market, or they're properties that are being converted, which is another pretty tremendous opportunity, converting office to life sciences, for instance, or retail to industrial space usage. So that's where we see the opportunity, those abilities to be adaptable, flexible, and investing in
Right.
quality.
Lisa?
Ryan, has the move to the Sun Belt been overdone?
Another great question. We don't think so at Cadre. We've actually been investing in the Sun Belt for about 6 years now. So pre-COVID, we employ not just an institutional investor approach to selections of markets that we think will be outperformers, but we also use data science, which is really one of the differentiated elements of Cadre. And so we've been focusing on markets that we've seen as affordable and high growth for a while. We think that markets like Phoenix, Charlotte, North Carolina, Tampa, Florida, Orlando, all markets where we have a large presence, actually still have a lot of runway because of the relative affordability. With that being said, there will be some saturation in many of these markets, and we're aware of that. And so we've started to already look for our next Cadre 15. But as long as there's good affordability, good job growth, good access to amenities, I think that you'll continue to see folks moving for space and out of the urban core and centers into many of these markets.
Ryan,
we're still affordable.
I apologize to cut in here, but this is a really sensitive and very important question that I keep seeing asked. How much has institutional investing pushed out individual real estate investors in some of these regions? You talk about the affordability. How much has the institutional push changed that dynamic?
Significantly. Well, that's frankly one of the founding principles of Cadre. It's why I started the business in many ways, because I believe that individuals and institutions should be able to invest alongside each other. There should be greater parity. I saw firsthand that many communities that were being invested in by institutions were changing overnight. People didn't know their neighbors anymore. They didn't know their communities anymore. What we've been able to do at Cadre is build a platform, a technology-enabled platform, where now individuals can invest in quote-unquote institutional real estate.
We're going to run out of time here, and what we're talking about here is a third rail for our listeners and viewers. Steve Schwartzman's going to pony up $1 gajillion, at least $1 billion, to buy 4,000 homes. I can't remember the number as well. Fancy guys like you are taking over the housing and rental business. When does that end?
Yeah. Well, first off, I want to say I'm a fancy guy. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I grew up not owning real estate, again, which is why I want to break out of the institutional world to start a platform like Cadre to level the playing field. But I think it's going to end, when there's greater awareness that the current model is not sustainable, that there has to be greater access and focus on economic inclusion and more broad understanding.
Who's going to police that? The politicians or the market?
I think you'll see a little bit of both, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which side you're on. But I think there has to be greater economic inclusion. There has to be a focus on, the community that you're investing in, the impact that you're driving for that community. And it can't just be about profits. It's got to be, there's profits, purpose, because otherwise you'll see a lot of the unrest that we've seen, frankly, over the last couple of years arise again.